welcome to the Healing Room. My name is Kerry Phillips and I am with the amazing
Lynn Scott.
And today we have the talented man of many skills, Kerry.
Thank you. I try. I definitely do try.
Oh, you don't need to try hard.
You're doing.
Lovely, just the little conversations we've had before we've gone on live and stuff. Would you mind introducing yourself to everyone?
Yep, so my name's Kerry Phillips. I run a mental health organisation named Saving Souls. It's a space for people to come and learn sports, and we use sports as a vehicle to help with mental health, the improvement of well-being and the prevention of mental health. We've got 6 projects that we run at the moment. We've got free men's football Friday. We've got a women's self-defense class, which is run by a brilliant person named Jackie. We've got free women, young girls self-defense class, a young people's program with the Crossfield Estates, the men's forum, the last Thursday of every month. And last but not least, we've just literally started, I think 9 weeks now, a community food bank. So every Friday, Beddenham Leisure Centre, they can come out, and that's run by myself and 2 amazing people, Tristan and Sherelle. We've been doing it for the last, like I say, about 9 weeks. So, yeah, this is what Saving Souls is doing.
It's lovely. What gave you the inspiration to do this?
Saving Souls, the name came from my church, actually. So I put on a charity football game for my church, under 30s versus over 30s. And then I tried to make a football team in order to bring it into the church and bring us all together and start playing different organisations. But it wasn't the timing, wasn't the right timing. And God's plan was just like, nah, I'm going to need you to bring this into the world. So it started with a men's football team because I was struggling mentally. And then I thought to myself that I need to get something where men can come and see each other and actually speak about mental health without it being the main focus. So I use football as the tool, but also as well as black men. I wanted to basically be able to say to myself, if I have to be vulnerable for other black men to speak, then I'll do that, because they need to see us and make sure that it's the norm, that you can talk about this. Do you know what I mean? So that's where it came from.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And what kind of led you to kind of feel like you're struggling with your mental health?
I think lockdown was there's a number of things. Lockdown and being the rebel, to be quite frank, being able to kind of do what I want when I want, and just to be quite frank, not having authority, so to speak. Like, not having authority doesn't mean you don't have respect. Do you know what I mean? So they're two, in my opinion, they're 2 different things. So when it got to a place where I couldn't do certain things that I wanted to and get involved in certain things, like, was at home, you're struggling. Like, and then I noticed a few of my friends, my male friends, they were struggling as well, but they wouldn't admit it. They wouldn't talk about it.
What was the things you kind of saw?
I think the things that I kind of saw was like not being transparent with how they're feeling. So we're having a conversation. How you doing? Yeah, I'm good. You know, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, but what's been going on? Oh, not much. Like, and I take into myself, I only talk about my problems when they're solved. When my problems are solved, that's when I talk about them. And then what will happen is later on down the line, yeah, I was going for a madness, you know, bro, but yeah, I'm back. And then for me, it's just like, well, I was kind of struggling with the same thing. So if we spoke about that together, maybe we could have solved that quicker.
Where do you think that behaviour came from? The fact of you wanting to deal with things first and then speak about it?
Especially for me in the West Indian cultures, big boys don't cry, don't tell nobody your business.
We spoke about this earlier.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you get to my age now and you're struggling, but you've always lived with the notion of don't tell nobody your business, like, why would you all of a sudden feel like you're comfortable to do that? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's about when you've got through it, then you talk about it. But then what I was realizing that in the same breath as well, because at that time I was losing my faith because of some stuff that I was dealing with internally, and I was losing faith. And then I was realizing that by me losing my faith, I'm not giving God glory by not talking about it. Do you know what I mean? So I had to go full circle in order for me to understand the importance of talking within the storm. Because when you're talking within the storm, it's when you're able to get the nuggets and the knowledge that you need in order to get out of the storm. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Why do you think a lot of, I don't even think it's just men, but people they like to deal with things before and then tell people that they've come out of it when they've come out of it, rather than in those times. So I know you said the concept of in terms of don't talk your business, but you're still telling it at the end.
Yeah.
But is it like when you have the victory, you could be like, yeah, I overcome it. Yeah.
Do you know, I think I could only speak for me. I think what I've come to develop my personality, what I've come to understand about my personality is that I don't like disappointment. And to be honest with you, I don't like disappointment from people. And it's something I need to work on, but I take disappointment very badly in terms of when it's people that I love and I hold on a pedestal. So what I would tend to do is, rather than me get the disappointment from them, if, for example, I ask for help and they may not provide it, it's like I'm protecting you from disappointing me. So I won't actually say anything. So I'd rather me just go through it internally, deal with it, and then once I've dealt with it, I can come to you and say, yeah, I was going through, but you know what, I'm good, blah, 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 blah. And then I might even say, yeah, thank you for checking in. You may not have known that you was helping me, but you were. But what I don't want to do is go to you, and then maybe it's not the advice, or maybe you don't show the
interest that you should.
that I should.
Yeah.
And then I start looking at you sideways because I'm thinking that, because as human, like you start looking, what, like, why? I would do that for you. Do you know what I mean?
The thought of you saying no to me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm that person that if I come to you for help, because I don't go to people really for help.
Exactly.
So if I come to you for help, you have to say yes.
Yeah.
And if you say no to me, it's like, so before that happens, so I used to be you. But what I want from you is, what advice would you give now to yourself to not do that anymore?
What I'd give is that if you don't expect anything from anyone, you can't be disappointed.
That's right.
And you've got to understand that you've got to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
So somebody, and this is where, like, for example, like a guy that I went with to a retreat, Marvin Harrison, I don't know if you know him, really good guy, right? And we went to this retreat and he was talking about how to put people in certain boxes, like friendship circles. So now I don't expect so much from people. So for example, let's say I want to go out raving, right? I'm going raving, I might call Kemi, yeah? And then I might call Kemi and we go out raving. But then let's say, for example, I'm struggling, then because Kemi's my friend, I call Kemi and Kemi's like, nah, let's go out. And I'm like, no, you're not giving me the support that I wanted there. But that's not where Kemi's at. No. So for me expecting that, I'm expecting something from Kemi that she can't necessarily provide. And then I start looking at my friendship with Kemi thinking, rah, she's supposed to be my brethren. But it should be a thing of where, like, okay, Kemi's the one I can call for raving. Yeah. It might be, you know what? I need some well-being advice.
This is where you need
Lynn,
that.
Let me call Lynn. Yeah. And I get that from them. But I might not call Lynn to go out because Lynn might be like, nah, do you know, I'm good, you know. Like, I'm really good, I want to stay at home. But then I can't see you as you're not my brethren because you decide you don't want to turn up with me at my birthday. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the advice I'd say, stop expecting things from people because you'll end up being disappointed, and understand that you got to meet people where you are. And if you may want to do more for other people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have the capacity to do that.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a fantastic message to go.
But where would you say, if we were to look at that disappointment came from? And we've asked all our guests about their attachment styles. Yeah. And one of the things about... So which one did you get?
I got dismissive avoidant.
Why are you laughing?
It's because, you know what? You do these things.
Yeah.
Right? And you think to yourself, they're just things that you do and everything like that. But then when you think about how accurate they are, you start understanding that, these things are actually real, you know?
Yeah.
They're actually real. Yeah. I think where did I think that comes from?
It's like, because you said, disappointment is really, this is like probably like a real trigger for you. Like someone disappoints you. What meaning do you give to that disappointment, and where do you think it's come from?
I think it comes from some of the things that I had to deal with internally, of like knowing that anybody that knows me is that if I've got you, I've got you. Like you're like, I've got you. Yeah. And it's a problem because although I wouldn't talk about my business to people, sometimes you're hoping that people will see you when you're not there.
Yeah, but they don't.
Even though you're invisible, you hope
Because you're
that they
very
still see you.
loyal.
Yeah.
That's your love.
Yeah.
You know, if we're to talk about love with you, in the little time I've known you, it's like loyalty is
100%.
That is what you class as love.
That is my love.
And then you look at that now from other people. So when they don't give that to you, that's where the disappointment. So you're now learning or relearning that not everyone's like that.
Yeah, and I think for me as well, it's like when you love someone and you trust them, and the loyalty gets broken, and I'm not saying it's the right way to go about it. I just know for me, it makes me question so much, and then that questioning so much can lead to all different things, and then you start thinking, well, was that right? Well, did this, and then I've been in a situation of recent, but it got me thinking to myself that like it started turning me mad. I started thinking different things where I'm just like, and then you're portraying things on other people when they could potentially just be doing right. Do you know what I mean? But then mentally you're creating this thing in your head. It's the stories, and especially with losing your way with God as well, the higher being that's there, and it can be a mind F, to be quite frank with you.
So I think it's Tyrese said it. He said loyalty has an expiration mark. And if you judge loyalty by the situations you're in, because I could be loyal to you in this area, but there might be a time where if it's between a gun between me and you, I am not saying you over me. So loyalty has an expiration mark, and sometimes what we give out to people, we expect for that to come back. And if we take it back to your attachment style, so attachments are formed from childhood. Yeah. And like I've said before, our past presents itself in the present. Yeah. And it made me, I got this sense when you're saying about disappointment. People who are avoidant, they trust themselves only. They don't trust other people. And sometimes we can have a limited belief or a message, the story, that people will let me down. Yeah. So I don't need to go to people because they're going to let me down. Yeah. And then if they let me down, then it's my fault for even trusting that they're going to do that because I knew they were going to do that.
And that could have started as early as from a parent. Yeah, yeah. When you were younger, a parent saying they're going to do something for you and they didn't do it. Yeah. A sister or a brother. Yeah. So you've just carried that belief because it's now in your DNA. Yeah. Now being in your program, in your fabric. Yeah. And you're like, okay, this is what happened to me then, and you just build on top, as Kemi was saying, the story. Yeah. So your program reads as your attachment.
Think, oh, you disappointed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because as you just said it made me think about Father Christmas. I used to wait for him every year to come and deliver stuff, and he never came.
Yeah.
And it's true, that's what it is.
I used to wait
in the living pattern, Father Christmas.
You start getting vexed with him, innit?
I wrote a letter to him. I go to Safeways at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote the letter and I was like, because we don't have a chimney, I used to leave my window open in the winter for him to come in and put my little pillowcase. I don't think we ever knew about Santa.
The stockings.
I used to leave my pillowcase. Like, Santa's going to come and everywhere I wake up, and he never came. Yeah.
So now you understand your attachment style, yeah?
Yeah.
Santa come and say me. I need to get over it.
No, it just came to me when you think about my parents. I was like, Santa never came.
It's real though. It's real.
Yeah, because we actually teach our children to lie, by that. Like the tooth fairy and the Santa. That's teaching children to lie. But anyway, let's not go off the topic. But yeah, so you understand now what we're...
Oh, I do. I think, and when I'm just looking back now, I'm looking at certain things and in my head I'm like, yeah, there's certain things from young that I can identify that with now to the reason why. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
So you've just built on it and just thought, well, you know what? This is what I'm going to expect. So this is where I always talk about my favourite book, The Four Agreements. And
okay.
If the authors out there somewhere listening, I talk about this book all the time. It's just so good because when you learn not to make assumptions, not to take things personally, it then allows you to be the true person that you were born to be. So you can then forgive
Yes.
your elders, because they didn't know any better.
100%.
And they were just working with a program that they were also fed.
Yeah.
And that helped them to survive.
Yeah.
So it's, we're talking about like the relationship that you're having with yourself. When you start developing that relationship with yourself and trusting yourself,
Yeah.
then you can look at others and just say, you know what, I forgive you. This is not about me.
Yeah.
This is your stuff. This is the way you've read your story. This is the way you've been programmed.
Yeah.
And then you walk around and you become so much more peaceful, and your attachment style will change.
Yeah.
As you're changing, you do that test again and you'll realize, oh wow, I'm actually quite secure.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're definitely right, because I think, as you said, that when you start to evolve and you start to understand, I think the problem I faced was that when I let my guard down and I allowed that trust and that vulnerability to come in, when people that you love and you care about disappoint you, you take it even worse. Because then it's personal, because of the fact that I've always grown up this way, doing things myself. So now I've got to a point where I'm not doing things myself. I want you to walk with me through this journey, and then I let my guard down. I show you this side, and you disappoint me. It's like, okay, cool. But I've learned that, as you said now, you can forgive the situation, but I'm also a firm believer as well that that doesn't necessarily mean that that person or that thing has to stay in your life for the rest of it. I feel like you can understand it, comprehend it, say, you know, okay, cool, this was what it was, forgive me for that, but I don't want this thing or this person in my life.
You also have to look at it as well, that the intentions behind what's happened with the other person. Because situations changes people. What a person wouldn't ordinarily do, a situation arises to make that person change.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, when you've asked them for help, their intention was, yeah, I can help you, I can do this,
Yes.
I can do that. That was their pure intention.
Yeah.
But something happened along the way with them that changed that. And instead of them communicating that to you, and they probably didn't even realize, even in their own world, that, oh, it's gonna, the roller coaster, it's gonna set off.
Yeah.
That's where it all starts to fall down and crumble, like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you saw your attachment style, what it gave to you, and you read a bit into it, what was your kind of first thoughts?
I think my first thoughts was like, wow, this is accurate, and how is this accurate? Like, because when you sent the thing through, I was like, oh, here we go. Just being honest, like ignorance. Like, here we go. Somebody's gonna tell me something about myself, and it's gonna be like, oh, it's not that. And I saw it, and I was like, no, how does it know? Like, how does it know that? And it's the fact of something that I just said earlier about feeling invisible to people, but in the same breath, it's my fault in the same breath, because it's like, if I'm consistently telling people, yeah, I'm good, you know, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's because it's easy for me to say that. I can't then expect people to see me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And then we see other people getting help and wonder, why don't no
Why-
one help me
why
like
don't-
that?
yeah.
But it's because you're like, cool,
because
I don't need that. No,
exactly.
I got it. Yeah.
And only until like I started saving souls is when I realized that, okay, now you're, Kerry, gonna have to let your guard down a lot more, because this is not about you anymore. If you're gonna serve a community and try to serve a community, you're gonna have to ask for certain things in different capacities, because that's gonna benefit them and it's not you. So when I'm asking my brethren for help and I'm seeing this person and they're like, yeah, definitely, it's because one of them in particular said to me that, bruv, I've been waiting for you to ask for my help, because you're always helping people. I've been waiting for you. So when I'm seeing the help now, I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Like,
overwhelmed by
yeah,
it,
do you know
like,
what I mean?
oh,
Like,
what's
wow,
that?
like, and then the subconscious in you of what you've grown up with, especially in ends, is like, well, are they trying to gain something as well? Like, is there an ulterior motive behind this?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, bro, because they're channeling with the same energy that you have. You just haven't asked for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All being used to receiving.
Yes.
You're always used to
Yeah,
give.
facts,
That
facts.
when someone gives, do you know what, when someone gives you something, it's like you want to do something back for them. Because like, instead of just being like, oh, thanks, that was really nice of you, thinking, oh, how can I bless them next time? It's like, actually sometimes we're asking God to bless us, and He is blessing us.
Yeah.
But we're refusing it, or we're just like, yeah, oh God help this. Someone gives you £100. Oh, let me go and bless this.
Yeah, you want to.
God's like, no,
You want to give something back. Like, even when you, like, I'm sure everybody that's watching this, and you guys have done this, you're at the checkout, and your late night checkout, and it's 10 o'clock, they say, have a good evening. Oh, you too. They're working. Like, why are you telling them that? They still got 3 hours left of their shift. You have a good evening. You want to say something complimentary back. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's one of those ones, as Kemi said, like, as soon as you start receiving things, you feel like you want to give back again. But sometimes you just got to kind of hold it. But I find it difficult.
It's called karma.
I find it difficult.
You're not used to that. Feeling like
You're
deserving of someone helping you. Someone you probably, even if someone's done something really, and you go home and cry, like, wow, I can't believe someone done that. Like, they really went out their way. Like, I've had moments like that because I'm usually a giver. So when I'll be like, no, they really went out there. And it makes me emotional, like, not why me, but like, oh, wow, people do see me. People do care. People do want to help.
And sometimes people could think I'm ungrateful because I trust. Oh, no, you don't have to do that. But it's just, I don't know sometimes how to accept it. Yeah. And I saw something, and people say to you, oh, you deserve it, you're a good person. And I was watching The Equalizer, and the guy said something along the lines of like, how did you know I was a good guy? And the person said, when I asked you if you're a good person or a bad person, only a good person would say, I don't know. Because if you're a good person, you're not going around saying, I'm a good person, I'm a good person. You know what I mean? And then I started to realize that this is probably why and it's not to be arrogant or blow my own trumpet, this is why my humility is like that. Because I'm not trying to do the accolades to say, yeah, I'm a good person, so I deserve this. When people say this to me, I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, I'd shy away from it. Because really and truly, like, although some of the good stuff that I'm doing, there's internal battles that I have that makes me think, am I a good person? And there's battles with the enemy, and this is why God is so close to me, because of the fact that you're battling, you're thinking to yourself, am I this good person that everybody says I am when I'm feeling this way? Some of the hardest things that you can do is when you're doing things so good for people, and everybody's telling you this, but you're the person that goes home in the mirror and looks at yourself and thinks to yourself, yeah, you're all right. Do you know what I mean?
That is a hard one, you know. That is a very hard battle. It takes time, and that again goes down to forgiving yourself. Yeah. And learning to accept and drawing closer to God as well, and saying, you know what, God actually made me this way. Yeah. And you know, I say it all the time, especially to my clients when I say that God says, you are the image of me. Yeah. So if I'm the image of God, then I need to be happy and know that I'm deserving of anything that's good that comes my way. Yeah. Because the only way I can make God happy is by me being happy. Because God feels through me. Yeah. You know, and you look at source as being, you know, we are all connected, we're all one. Yeah. And it's like source says, okay, so I need to feel through you, because I'm never going to come down here and show myself, but I'm going to show myself through you all. Yeah. So it's like the Big Bang Theory. Yeah. You know, I've come as this big source, and the Big Bang was you're all broken up into little splinters. Yeah. Or the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. Because even out of the bad things, we learn how that affects other people. So we now know we won't do it. I remember reading the book Conversations with God. Number 1 was hard enough to take in. But number 2, when it spoke about Hitler being, you know, he was right in his world, he was right. I thought, oh, what kind of God?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But then I realised that, hold on, if Hitler hadn't done what he had done, we wouldn't know the effects of it. If slavery hadn't happened, and we still know that slavery still exists in all different forms now, human trafficking and so on, we wouldn't know the effects of how it feels. So these little splinters of God, we just have to accept it. So we then have no right to judge anyone else. 100%. In the same way, we should stop judging ourselves.
100%. And I think the closer, what I've learned, in my opinion, the closer you get to God, the more unholy you realize you are. And sometimes it makes it a bit difficult internally, because you're thinking, wow, like, I'm so far away from this man. like I'm not doing enough, and then it's
man,
like,
woman,
yes,
woman.
man, woman. I'm so far away that am I even close? And for me, it's like I'm coming to understand even more that it's like if the purpose was for us to just be saved because he wants us to all be one, when we get saved, we just die. That means just there's a purpose. There's a purpose. And like I get great teaching from my church, the Tab Church, Pastor Mike White. And a lot of the teaching that I'm getting and understanding the nutrients that I'm getting, I'm just realizing that how important for me reading of my Bible in terms of understanding the word properly and realizing that like a lot of the things that you'll go through, a lot of it is written in the Bible, and it's a lot of them how you take it in. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I've learned now the relationship that I've had with myself now is so much more stronger because I'm actually listening, not just trying to hear, but actually listening. A lot of time God has been talking to me, but I ain't ready to listen. It's not what I want to hear. It's not what I want to hear.
Do you find that that's helping you to have a better relationship now with other people?
Yeah.
We were talking about, like, say, the opposite sex. You know, we don't care whether you're gay or whatever, but you know, we now know that it's opposite for him. But I'm trying to be politically correct here.
Just say partner.
Yeah.
Whichever way.
Whatever. Yeah. But are you finding? See, you're making me lose my trail of thought.
Are you finding
are you finding you're having a better relationship now with women?
Yes. But and how do I put this?
Or understanding.
How do I put this? I think I've always had a good relationship with women in general. It's just I think what I've learned in regards to like my faith and everything like that, it's not just necessarily women, it's people in general. Because going to church is the easy part. That Sunday is the easy part. How do you treat people from Monday to Saturday? And if I go back to what you were saying with regards to women, I think what it's done is made me understand more how important it is to understand, like, for example, when it says, husband, love your wives like Jesus loved the church, and then women must respect their husbands. We spoke earlier about a woman that listens, right? But then I've understood as well, for a woman to submit, there must be a mission for her to submit to. So I can't expect...
I hope you hear that. Do you want to repeat that, please?
Yeah, that's the teachings that we get from church. So it's in order for a woman to listen, there must be a mission for her to submit to, for her to submit. So it's all good and well us saying that I want a woman to listen to me and be my peace and everything like that. But if we're just chilling on the sofa and we're not actually doing anything, we're not showing any direction, we're not showing any drive or anything like that, how can a woman submit to somebody and think that this person's going to be able to not just necessarily lead himself into a business or do better in life? How's he going to lead me into a family? How's he going to lead our family to make sure that we survive? Right. Do you know what I mean? Right. So I think it's helped me to understand more that when you're going into the world and you're meeting new people, make sure that there's a mission for them to submit to. That's what I think I've learned.
I love that.
Yeah, mission to submit to.
Yeah. Yeah, you're hearing that, Kemi?
I need a man to be able to submit. And I bet you AI, when you chop this up, it will take that part. I need a man to be able to submit to. Yeah. No, that's no. Yeah, I like. No, there's something I like when there's little gems to take away from and for you to look at things in a different perspective and a different.
Yeah. Can I interject? Sorry. Yeah. This is why I say to people, like, this is what I learned at church. So it's like you're learning this stuff because people think it's just thou art, thou shalt, and some churches you may get that, but if you get the right teaching, you'll be able to learn the kingdom principles and apply it to your life. Do you know what I mean? It's and I can't, just like I say, you feel like I'm plugging my church, but I'm wearing this for a reason.
But you can plug your
Yeah.
shirt. It doesn't matter.
I'm wearing this
I'll
for
be
a
there
reason.
this Sunday.
Yeah, you will?
No, I won't.
Okay, and close.
That statement, what I love about that statement is that, you know, bad man out there, good man out there, when they're saying, boy, I can't find a good woman, they need to give the woman a reason.
Yeah.
Because that's what that statement, that submission
Yeah.
statement actually means. You need to give that woman, and also a woman needs to give her man a
100%.
reason as well
100%.
for that togetherness, for a purpose, for a reason for them to be together. Because love is just a small part of it.
But why would you think, I know we're going off topic, but hey, we like to flow,
Yeah.
that in this generation now, I'm not saying it wasn't there before, but everyone likes to milk the cow for free and not buy the cow.
So, dumb that down for me.
So we're just in a generation where people just want to have sex, no relationships. We're bringing kids into this world without, and it's just that kind of culture now where there's not that.
Well, sex is a recreation, I've realised with the youngers. I would love to have had my granddaughter here as we're talking about this, because how they look at it, not to say that this is her, because this isn't her at all, but that generation, when they talk freely about sex, I'm shocked, because my old generation here, and I'm not saying all of us, by the way, it's not all, I think maybe I looked at sex as more something that was quite sacred.
And meaningful.
Yeah. So I looked at it as, it could be just my upbringing, it might not be my age or whatever. So anyone out there saying, well, I was going off with 5 or 10 men at a time, I'm just saying for me personally, that was quite sacred. It was like, you don't want to be known as the loose girl. So if you had sex with someone, it was because I'm committing myself to you. And that's kind of like something I've tried to carry on throughout my life. Yeah, I've had a few slip-ups. You know, I'm normal. But, if, you know, I'm with that person. You are my partner. You are who I'm having sex with. You are my lover. Yeah? But these days, maybe because we've got more social media. Yeah, because that could be another reason why. Because, you know, as we're talking now, I'm like thinking, or maybe it's because we've got social media why I'm hearing it more now, where it seems like sex is even more so like, I know nothing. So what, I had sex with him.
I think for me personally, once again, this is my personal opinion, is that I think two things that we've taken, which were normal things that we should be doing as humans, but we've just basically exploited it and taken it to a point where we've kind of like made it our own, is food and sex. So food really was to sustain us, to make sure that we're healthy with food, when we're not hungry and we're able to grow. And sex was really for pleasure, but most reproduction, which is it. We've taken it to a point now where, like, instead of us saying, you know what, a chicken Caesar salad is going to do me right, I'm going to see the Big Mac and the cheese with all the stuff dripping down, and that's what I want. That's what I want. So that's my craving. So rather than the healthy side of things of eating, which is going to sustain me and fill me with all the nutrients that I need, I want the cheeseburger, I want chips, I want a milkshake. It's with sex now. Rather than saying I just want to reproduce and basically give back to the world and basically all that. No, I want my pleasure now. So because it's what I want, that's where I'm at now. And I think if you take into consideration now with social media and how much that's heightened, everybody believes that they've got options. So rather than it being a thing of where, so for example, if my TV or your TV breaks tomorrow, 9 times out of 10 of a lot of us will go online, will order a new television.
Yeah, we don't try and fix it.
No.
Yeah,
we'll drive to the place to drive a new TV. But we'll pass so many TV repair shops and we won't even think about going in there to say to the person, hey, could you fix the TV? No, I'll just get a new one.
So really what you're saying when you're saying about, you know, you're just milking the cow, you don't have to buy it. People are just like having sex and then deciding, oh, well,
I don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
But if you can milk the cow for free, why buy it?
But sometimes
it's like I say, don't test drive me and don't think you're going to buy me at the end of it. Yeah. Like a car, you know, you're not going to test drive me for a year and then say, oh, well, we weren't in anything anyway.
But then it's about going back to as well the relationships we have with ourselves. What do we value? Who do we value ourselves? Yeah. Like, do we actually place value on ourselves? And I think value is based on yourself. So for somebody that wants to come in and maybe try and talk to you in a certain way and think that they can milk the cow, you be like, no, that's not me. But somebody that may not value themselves as much, and this is not saying that they don't value themselves in terms of they
not consciously,
but there could be certain things that they've gone through from young that they don't see themselves as worthy enough.
Yeah.
So if a man comes along and tells them the nice things that they want to hear, that's the value that they see from that. So the validation actually comes from them as opposed to how they feel internally.
Yeah, because because there's a thing called external locus of evaluation and internal. Yeah. So what we try to aim to have is a good internal locus of evaluation where we can regulate ourselves, we understand our own emotions, and then there's external where our validation, our conditions of worth come from outside sources. Yeah. So how you feel today can affect me, but it shouldn't.
Yeah, facts.
You're sad, I don't need to be sad.
Yeah, facts.
You don't need to walk in the house and I'm like, oh, he's really upset, and I'm now affecting my mood or questioning my, oh, have I done something, or does he still love me? Does he want to leave me? Because how you're kind of behaving. But where was I going with this train of thought? And the doors were knocking. I can't remember where I was going to train of thought.
It's all about relationship with yourself.
Yeah. Because I know I've been in situations where, I didn't grow up in a church, so I started church when I was 18. Yeah. And I had this thing of like no sex before marriage. Yeah. And I thought, oh, if I have sex, I'm going to feel really bad. And I did it. And I was like, I think I left straight away because I was waiting for this bad feeling like, oh God, I've let you down, or I've done something really horrible. And then probably having that practice, sex wasn't a big thing, like going out and having sex. But then I got to a certain age and I'm like, I'm getting old now. Like maybe I need to do something different or be how other people are, and maybe get into this sex, kind of meet someone, have sex, and then it goes into a relationship. But then realizing, no, you just become not an object, but you just have sex and that's all it is. And then you're growing these feelings, and maybe I needed that validation that I was wanted or needed. So then you end up going against who you are. So then you're having this battle with wanting to have this person, but then inside you're knowing that you're breaking all your morals and all your values just because you want this person to want you and to like you. And maybe I can give thanks that I still have that foundation of God there, or that foundation of who I am. That yes, I might go over and do some dumb stuff, but then I'll come and be like, I didn't need to do that. Like, I didn't need to go there.
That's just like such an interesting point there, because I had a conversation with my granddaughter the other day. She's amazing, by the way. I just have to pick up my granddaughter. Big up my Faith. She's so gorgeous. Yeah, her name's Faith. I just love her. But we were talking about this whole thing about validation and stuff, and she sat here and she said to me, and I'm not putting on her accent, but this is how I think she sounds. She said, Glam? And I said, yes, darling. She said, you know what I realised in life? I don't actually have to have someone else validating who I am. I don't need a boy to tell me I am this. I actually value myself. Yeah. And I looked at her and I was like,
you got it already.
You're 19.
Yeah, that's good.
Finally. Yeah. Because what she was saying is that she realises that some people change the way they are to be accepted 100%. By these boys. Yeah. When my girl sat there, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Yeah. She's finally got it at 19. Yeah. And that's a message out there for everyone. You do not need anyone else to validate you. Yeah. The only person that needs to validate you is yourself. You and your God within. And that's it.
And something that someone said, sometimes we're trying to be somebody that we're not. But then when people even reject the person that you're not, you feel even more rejected. They didn't like who you was trying to be, and they didn't. Yeah. You thought they wouldn't like even you, so you even feel more rejected because you're showing up as somebody else, and they don't even like that.
And for us, as if I take it to myself, for example, and there'll probably be a lot of men that will not agree. Not I wouldn't say agree, not admit this, right? Although we don't seek validation, we do want to be appreciated.
Yeah, and that's a different thing, though, appreciation and validation.
I think.
What do you think?
I definitely think they're two different things. I think they do two different things, but from a point of where, like, sometimes the appreciation can feel like the validation that you need to show that you are doing the right things. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it might not necessarily be validation to say that, like, oh, I need you to tell me that I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
But it might just be a thing, do you know what, babe, that I really think, and then in your head it's like, yeah, I did the right thing.
Yeah.
I have done well.
I guess a lot of thing is on women, like making women feel good, and then we forget about the men, and that's why, you know, men's mental health is important. Everyone's mental health is, but we don't realise actually men don't always cry, so we don't know when how they feel when they're going through things. And as women, and not all women, but we're blessed to be able to we can have a cry with our friends, and release. And we're constantly talking about our problems and what we're going through. Where men may only have a selective few they can talk to, or they don't talk to anyone at all. So then they're just reasoning with themselves and their thoughts, and that's why like men's suicide rates are really high.
It's so high, and I was at a place like where, even if I'm just being real, like my sister passed last year, right? It's all good, but I still haven't grieved yet. I know that for a fact.
Well, come to us for cancer.
I still haven't grieved yet, and the reason why I haven't grieved yet is because, and once again, this is not anybody else's problem. I could not show them that I'm struggling, because I've always been seen as, in my family, kind of like the rock, so to speak. Kerry don't cry. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have that, and I think the funny thing is, not even a funny thing, the interesting thing with probably a lot of men, the things that we place on as value would be the tiniest things. So for example, like I look at like, and this is whoever's, you know, some people are going to call this inspirational, other people will say you're showing off. Whatever that person's looking for, they're going to look for it anyway, right? So my trainers, the ones that I get, they're usually £150. My jeans, like, they're like £100.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I wear nicer stuff, right? Yeah. But the most valuable thing on me, right, is this here. And this chain is made from the ashes of my sister. Now, you can look at it and see everything that I'm wearing and think, okay, well, he must be thinking that this is more valuable because of monetary things. And it's like, no, this here, if I lost this, this would probably be the thing that broke me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? This will probably be the thing that breaks me. Yeah. And I think for me, what I'm starting to understand is that the value that I place on myself is basically got to be down to what I determine as valuable. It can't be what anybody else determines as valuable, because at one moment they can see you as valuable, but you do one thing and then that's it. You're not valuable no more. That's right. And then how am I supposed to lose myself because somebody else has had a change of heart in their head of what I'm about? Being able to have value within yourself is so important, and it's so important to be able to say to yourself, do you know what? As much as, yes, like, you would love the appreciation from people, if you don't receive it, don't allow that to diminish how you feel about yourself. And your value.
This is a level of just being seen. I think we all want to be seen. Yeah. And not that we have to have the biggest place, but just being seen. Yeah. To see, okay, you don't seem the same today. Or what's going on? And I think if you're always the giver, you know, those words mean 1,000. Even though you still don't want to, but it just rings like, wow, someone's noticed that I'm not in a good space. 100%. Though I don't want you to help me, they just notice, and that means a lot. Yeah. And I think it's us going through the world with love.
Yeah, facts.
For one another. Like that woman who's cussing you out on the street. Maybe she's had a bad day and she's never, like, whatever's going on at home, and you're just getting the brunt of it. Yeah. But then we cuss back, and then there's not much love. Yeah. Where you just, even like some guy, and he looked a bit scruffy, he was talking to you, he's coming up close, but I was like, do you know what? What does it cost me just to be a bit, rather than, don't come next to me? Yeah. Being that, and he's like, yeah, Google my choir. Like, he's like, homeless choir, or something, whatever it was. And he's like, yeah, but he's over talking, you know, like, okay, all right. Yeah. But how do I know what that difference that would have made? Yeah. Real. And the book I'm reading, the man said, and this is what he said about being nice and smiling. He said, a man, you don't know the difference you're going to make in someone's life. A man said, he went to go and commit suicide, and he said, if before I get to the bridge, someone smiles at me, I won't commit suicide. Yeah. The man's no longer here. Wow. Because nobody didn't do that. And you don't realise the power of just smiling at someone, or even when you know, I don't know if you've ever been in a queue and someone ain't got money and you're like, oh, I'll buy it for you. Yeah. Those little things of just giving, smiling, even sometimes to a don't use the wrong word, someone who takes crack. Yeah. Like I went, morning, Queen. I thought you probably don't even get spoken to. I'm not saying I go around doing it all the time, but there was something that in me just said, oh, just be nice, like, morning, Queen, because you probably don't get someone talking to you, but you used to, I'm not saying used to, that's really, but because of how you look now, people might forget of where you've come from, and we could all get to that place, being that crackhead, that alcoholic, that whatever, but we can all get there. And most of those people who are on the street have a story.
But this is why I say and I said earlier, going to church is the easy part. It's because for me, you can get up, you can hear the word, and then you can go from Monday to Saturday and see somebody on the street and not say to them, "Good morning, Queen," and not see that person and smile that's no longer here. Yeah. And it's one of those things for me where when you start looking at things in a different light, it's not always about you. Last year we did a drive where we literally got food, partnered with the meal team, we got food and we handed out the food to all the homeless people in Central, right? And we was running out, just dashing, giving the food, saying, "Hey, here you go, here's the food." And you know what I took from that? Kerry, that was an ego thing. But the reason why it was an ego thing is because you thought giving them food was what they wanted. The majority of them, what they wanted was conversation. Because of the fact that somebody acknowledges them. Somebody sees them for them, right? So you think you're doing a good deed because you're giving food. But that's not what they want. They would prefer you to sit down for 10 minutes, have a conversation, and let them talk to you, because probably every single person has walked past them. So when you see things and you think to yourself, "I'm going to do this for this person," sometimes try and find out what it is that person wants before you feel like you've done a good deed, because it makes you feel.
And this is where we go back to, you don't have to be homeless.
Yeah.
When you say to somebody, it's like when I say to somebody, "How are you?" And they say, "Oh, I'm okay." And I say, "No. How are you?" In fact, okay, don't mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. You see them break
And
down.
then all of a sudden, it's like someone's just got that time to stop and listen to me. And this can be somebody even in your home, the person you live with, the children, your partner, whoever. Yeah. Just stop and say, "Is there anything I can do to help you?
Yeah.
How are you feeling today?
Yeah.
How did something go that they told you about earlier on or yesterday?" Yeah. To show that you're interested and that you actually did listen and you're concerned. Yeah. Because we need to check in all the time.
And be made to feel like it's the norm.
And this is like when you're saying about men, I always say, men need to be appreciated, they need to be admired, and they need to be adored. They're three different things. So, again, women out there, check in on your king. Check in, see how he's feeling, because he doesn't really have that many people who he can speak to or feels free or vulnerable enough to speak to. So, we as women should take that on board. And I can hear some women screaming, "Oh, but what about him? He ain't checking in on me." Girls, we got girlfriends sometimes that we can go and offload to, because men tend to come from a logical way of thinking. Us women, we're more right side brain. We go on emotions and then we fix. Yeah. You say to a man, "I've had a bad day," he says, "Leave the job." We're not saying we want to leave the job. Yeah. We're just saying we had a bad day. A man is solution based. Yeah. So when we're there like, "Oh, does our bum look too big, or do I look?" A man's just going to be like, "Yeah, you look good." But your girlfriend's going to say, "Boy, don't wear that sister-in. That ain't working." and that. So we need to check in, and I'm very much into checking in on our men with mental health.
And can I piggyback off of that as well?
Yeah.
And women, don't shoot the messenger here.
No.
I'm going to shoot you. It's not good.
Yeah,
let's see, there were two women.
Yeah. Sometimes when a man doesn't tell you that what they're going through, sometimes it's not personal to you. A lot of times, a lot of men struggle with telling you is because we're the protector of you.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where we are worried about what we say, because we know that you care about us, and then we're going to be worried about you caring about us. So it's even more pressure that we take on. So sometimes the best way in order for us to handle it is not to tell you anything. And it's not a thing of where we're taking it personal. We don't believe that you are our piece or anything like that. It's just sometimes our way of dealing with things is making sure that we're still protecting you at all costs. Yeah, I know it sounds backwards because we're talking about a logical way that men think, but men do think logically from a point of where I know that she's going to worry about me. I know that she cares for me. Yeah. And then she's going to ask me, is there anything I can do? Or it might just be the messages where it's just like, babe, you okay? Do you need anything? Or babe, and it might be those messages where it's like, do you know what? No, I've got to a place where I've learned to, the word compartmentalize it, where I've got a part to put it to the side. But then you constantly asking because you care can kind of bring it back up. So we're not all men that just don't want to talk. There's a method to our madness.
It's getting that balance right. Yeah. What's for your ears?
Yeah.
And what's for not for your ears, and maybe I need to deal with it, and I can come and share that with you. But also trusting that, you know, talking to your partner and saying, actually, that doesn't help me when you say that. Yeah. So I've learned to have to teach some of my friends how to speak to me when I'm going through stuff. Yeah. Because I'll go there with a problem, then you want to tell me, yeah, no, you need to do this, yeah. I'm like, have you even heard what I said? I'm just like, you haven't heard me. What about just sit with me while I go through it without jumping 20 steps ahead or telling me what I'm thinking or feeling when you haven't even heard me? Because that would make me shut down. So one time I spoke to my friend through it. I said, what you just said there would make me shut down. Yeah. What would I have liked to have heard is, oh, how did that make you feel? Yeah. And maybe being a counsellor is a bit different because these are the questions you ask. But sometimes we have to teach people. So it might be with your partner, like, do you know what? If I share this with you, I know you're going to worry, but please know I've got it. Yeah. That every minute doesn't help. So that you're able to work on things together. So you don't always have to feel that burden of, I've got to keep it all up. No, we can go through this together.
Yeah. Men also as well, do this, please. Ask the question, do you want me to solve it? Or do you just want me to listen?
Yes.
Please ask that question. Yeah. Are you just wanting to rant and you just want me to take it all in? Or do you want me to start downloading and thinking about, okay, how are we going to get this out together? Please ask that question. Because even trust me when I tell you, it's going to be better on the end of it.
That, yeah.
Well, I even say it sometimes, I just want to have a rant.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's just a rant. Nothing else but have a...
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Definitely, but would you like to give a key message out for anybody just regarding mental health or anything that's important to you before we wrap up?
I want to say thank you to I say thank you to God in private, so I want to thank him in public for allowing Saving Souls to get to a place where we're actually saving souls, what the name does, to all the people that volunteer and support us to Saving Souls, to the work that we do. And also as well, the last thing I will say, and I usually leave a lot of the times on this, if you have somebody, if you are struggling and you are going through things, man or woman, please speak to people, because I promise you now, there are friends out there that would rather listen to you 100 times a day rather than turn up at your funeral once. I promise you. So there's people out there.
So if you need any support and you're looking for a therapist or anything like that, you've got Lambeth Talk Therapy or your area Talk Therapy where you can self-refer yourself and get free counselling. So there are support places, but below will be links to places. Below, I have to type it up now.
Yeah. Connect with
below
us.
will be there where you can basically connect
they
to
can
and
connect
groups and
with us,
places that are around. Yeah,
definitely, and connect with the healing room as well. In your comments and stuff, because we read the comments all the time, and anything that we can do to help you, Kemi and I, we're there for you, you know. So that is something as well that we need to tap into. Yeah.
So last thing, I want to thank you both because it's very rare that you can come somewhere. This really is a healing room. Like I'm not getting no paid subscription or anything like that to plug this. This is really
your money.
This is a healing room. This is a space where I've been able to, because I'm quite open anyway, because I know it needs to help people. But this is a space where I've felt very calm and been able to articulate myself to a point where it feels like there is no judgment. This is a safe space. So I want to big up you guys, because you both are doing great things to help a lot of people. Because the podcast that I've seen is the other men. For men to feel comfortable to talk to women, shout out you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out you both.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I'm going to try and say it. Comment, subscribe, and like.
She just said,
I can't say subscribe.
comment, subscribe, please share.
Yeah, please.
The more you share and subscribe, then the more this goes out to the wider audience, and we're here to help. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another wrap. Thank you.
WITHIN. You move that around, you can get the word high twin.
Twin, that's right.
Your high twin, your higher version of self, your higher reflection. And sometimes when we're out here on the streets in the community, we never tune into our high twin because there's too many things trying to pull you away from your inner nature, what's in your nature naturally. You feel me? What's in your nature naturally. So when you've got that isolation, you can begin to learn, you can begin to grow through your past experiences, you can begin to visualize further in order to become more. Change is beautiful. It's always important to change, but I don't feel like we always have to change. When I'm in the jails, I don't really speak to the guys too much about change. I just talk to them about igniting what's already inside of us, because it's in our nature naturally. So when sometimes we feel like we have to change, you may look at yourself, look at the reflection and feel like this is who you're not meant to be. It's just igniting what's already in us, because we're born, we're made out of love, we're made out of these things, so it's in us already. So let's just ignite that. When you tune in to self, you don't know what it's going to reveal. So I haven't got the answer for everybody of what to do, but you tune in with self, and then that inner voice, our intuition. Our intuition is our inner tutor.
That's right.
That voice, we need to become in alignment with that voice. Because that voice is our higher self. It's fear. It's fear, people dwelling in fear for their life, fear to express. To me, fear is false evidence appearing real.
That's right.
It's just false evidence appearing real. But then we can become alchemists and change that, because we have to change negatives into positive, because everything is a balance. We have to understand that. So if there's negative things going on in the world, just know there's positive things going on.